Welcome to another story made by Oracle 1. The wind howled across the fjords of Jorundheim, carrying with it the briny scent of the sea and the distant echo of a mournful chant. The village lay cloaked in the grey light of dawn, its wooden structures silhouetted against the restless waters. Within one such dwelling, a young woman stood rigid, her hands clenched into fists as her gaze drifted toward the horizon where the sky met the sea. Her name was Sigrid, daughter of Eric the Bold, a famed Viking warrior whose name was sung in the mead halls across the north. Eric had fallen just days prior in a fierce battle against Saxon warriors defending their coastline. His final raid, a venture into the unknown waters to the south, had been thwarted by death's cold hand. In his last breath, he had entrusted Sigrid with a solemn charge: to complete the raid and bring back the honor of their clan. Now, at 20 summers old, she would take the helm of her father's longship, Stormraven, to fulfill his dying wish. Sigrid's eyes burned with fierce determination as she donned her leather armor, a blend of her mother's handiwork and pieces forged by the village smith. She wrapped a cloak around her shoulders, its wolf emblem stitched in silver. A symbol of strength her father had once boasted was a mark of their family legacy. Her hair, like strands of fiery autumn leaves, was braided tightly, free from the chaos of wind or battle. The village was hushed save for the clamor of preparation. Men and women alike gathered to provide provisions and blessings for the journey. Among them were Sigrid's childhood friend Leif, a skilled archer with a mischievous grin, and Astrid, a seasoned shield maiden who had sworn loyalty to Eric and now to his daughter. Though some doubted a woman's resolve, many saw in Sigrid the spirit of her father, and their voices soon joined in a chant, a prayer for safe passage and vengeance. As the sun lifted above the cold waters of the North Sea, Stormraven creaked awake, a formidable silhouette carved against the endless blue. The dragon-headed prow, fierce and proud, seemed ready to bite into the waves themselves. Sigrid climbed aboard, her fingers trailing along the worn wood that had borne her father through countless campaigns. "Are you sure, Sigrid?" Leif asked quietly, eyes searching hers. "The Saxons are fierce in their defense." Without Eric, Sigrid's voice was steady, tempered with unwavering resolve. "Without him, he cannot finish what he began. We carry his blood, his will. He would not want this to end here." With that, the sails caught the wind, and the longship sliced through the grey seas into the vast unknown, carrying Sigrid and her crew southward, toward the encroaching lands of dark forests and walled towns where her father had met death. Days melded into nights, the crew battling storm and fatigue, while Sigrid learned the art of command under the unyielding gaze of her companions. Astrid stood beside her as both mentor and friend, teaching the intricacies of tactics and the subtleties of leadership beyond brute strength. Leif's laughter lifted spirits amidst the cold. His arrows remained ever ready, even as the crew's anticipation grew near the Saxon coast. One evening, as the sun dipped low, painting the sky in shades of crimson and gold, a lookout cried out from the mast. "Land!" To the south, the longship veered toward the jagged cliffs where dense woods guarded the ancient Saxon village of Dunwich. From the decks, Sigrid could see smoke rising from thatched roofs and hear the faint barking of dogs, a reminder that this raid would be no easy feat. Before the raid commenced, Sigrid gathered her crew under the flickering light of the fire. "We honor my father by completing this journey. We are not simply thieves or warriors. We are heirs to Eric's courage and strength. We must strike swift and silent, like the ravens that circle above, and return home with proof of our valor." The night was thick with tension as the longship approached the secluded harbor. Sigrid's heart pounded in her chest, but her voice was steady as she commanded her crew. "Astrid, you take the right flank. Leif, cover the rear with your archers. I will lead the front. Remember, surprise is our ally." They slipped ashore beneath the cloak of darkness, shadows among shadows. The villagers, sensing an ominous presence, hastily gathered their arms, but Sigrid's forces moved with practiced precision. Blades glinted in moonlight, arrows whistled through the air, and screams broke the silence as chaos erupted. In the heart of the village, Sigrid faced the Saxon chieftain, a hulking figure clad in chainmail, his eyes blazing with defiance. They clashed, steel meeting steel with thunderous clangs. Sigrid's training, her father's teachings, and instinct guided her strike. With a swift maneuver, she disarmed him, pressing the flat of her blade to his throat. "Yield," she commanded, voice echoing with authority. The chieftain's gaze flickered, defiance giving way to respect. "Why does a woman lead the raven's flight?" he asked, breath ragged. Sigrid's eyes blazed. "Because a daughter of Eric shall finish what her father began." The chieftain nodded, signaling submission. The village fell silent as her crew gathered spoils, treasures, supplies, and prisoners to be ransomed. The raid was not merely for wealth but a promise kept, a legacy upheld. As dawn broke, the longship set sail once more, Sigrid standing at the bow, feeling the weight of her father's legacy upon her shoulders. The sea was vast and unpredictable, much like the journey of a young woman stepping into the shadows of legends. Yet, with every wave that kissed the ship's hull, she felt closer to the man who had taught her strength, honor, and unyielding courage. Home awaited. A place where stories of the Viking's daughter would be whispered in awe and reverence, where the storm had passed, but the flame of legacy burned brighter than ever. For more stories, like and subscribe.